Have you ever wished for an alternative practice to help benefit your mental health and the overall wellness of our world? Hi, I'm Elizabeth Seitzinger, and this is my presentation for my political communication analysis on Bill SB 23290. So what is Bill SB 23290? It's Colorado's Natural Medicine Health Act implementation, and it's an important act that aims to amend the current framework of natural medicine and psilocybin therapy in the state, and the bill also aims to implement the Natural Medicine Health Act that voters passed in November 2022. According to the Colorado Division of Professions and Occupations, this act legalizes access to certain plants or fungi for people 21 years of age and older, with a venue created for supervised participation by state licensed facilitators, and this would be done by September 2024. And the act also decriminalizes personal use of certain plants and fungi for individuals also over the age of 21. The bill not only will help improve mental health and wellness, but Colorado's comprehensive framework and revised legislation will allow for the safe and ethical use of these substances, and this will help set the stage for other states. So, Colorado's Senate President, Senator Fenberg, he was the primary sponsor of the bill, and he utilized deliberative communication, racial acknowledgement, and audience adaptation in his role of communicating about Bill SB 23290. According to Patricia Roberts Miller in her book Demagoguery and Democracy, deliberative communication implies communication in which different views are confronted with one another, and the arguments for these different views are given time and space to be articulated and presented, and there's a tolerance and respect for the concrete other argument. Participants learn to listen to the other person's argument, and this is how she views deliberative communication, and I thought that Fenberg showed a lot of this in his role of communicating about the bill. He did this through his focus on regulated supported use, personal use, and his inclusivity of indigenous focus. And on Monday, April 17th, 2023, he created a draft of his proposed amendment to the state psychedelic law composed of hard news. This hard news really helps reflect and address the important concerns and prove that the benefits outweigh the negativities, the concerns of the bill. So for the start, the regulated supported use, the section brings up supervised use of only psilocybin and psilocin at licensed healing centers. According to the Denver Post, Fenberg said that a large part of the bill he's working on will center on regulated side of the ballot measure governing approved healing centers, and as this measure was passed, that oversight will exist under the authority of the state Department of Regulatory Agencies, or for short DORA. And Fenberg explained that he's currently working on finding an oversight for regulated supported use, and this also exhibits deliberative communication by providing a wide range of solutions to the concerns of the public, confronting different views with respect. And according to the Department of Education, deliberative communication is mutual and carefully balanced consideration of different alternatives. So I thought this was just another way to prove that Senator Fenberg really did show deliberative communication. And this picture is from one of his Zoom calls on March 31st, and it was from the Psychedelic Week article that was one of my sources, so I included that. Moving on to personal use, Senator Fenberg explained his advocacy for the bill and his efforts to turn Colorado into a model for how legalized psilocybin and regulated therapy can work during a how that can work. He did this during a legislative town hall meeting in Boulder on February 13, 2023, and he addressed many concerns such as the potential for gray and black market activity. This was from the source, Senator Seeks to Overhaul Colorado Psychedelic Law, right here. He explained that Governor Jared Polis had recently named members for an advisory board, but he understands the concern about the lack of guidance from law enforcement and what they can do about that right now. So he showed openness and honesty by addressing that, and these means of communication in his press releases and interviews. By calling attention to the surrounding state's concerns and giving specific data on how he will change the framework, he presents deliberative communication, shows respect for the concrete other, and allowing the participants to learn about the bill. And then moving on to Indigenous focus, he deploys an understanding of Indigenous focus and a commitment to inclusivity and diversity in his communication about SB 23290. The bill establishes what is called the Federally Recognized American Tribes and Indigenous Community Working Group, and his inclusion in this working group highlights his commitment to diversity and respect for all citizens. He gives a designated space for Indigenous groups and just exhibits his ability to cover all sides of the issue and raising concerns once again. And he also deploys racial acknowledgement. According to the lecture in Module 8 of the course, racial acknowledgement is when people in politics are obligated to acknowledge race because they recognize its persistent public presence. And I would say Fenberg displayed this acknowledgement as well within this specific part and inclusion of Indigenous focus within Bill SB 23290. And then moving on to the media influence, a majority of journalistic coverage aims to highlight the benefits, actually, of SB 23290. There are many journalistic pieces about it that use deliberative communication and hard news, solid facts, to showcase the importance of natural medicine therapy around the globe, and while also calling attention to all the concerns that are raised about the bill once again. So the first article by Emerge Law Group, it uses a hard news approach with deliberative communication, explaining both sides. The approach allows sharing natural medicines in specific contexts, such as connection to counseling or spiritual guidance, but it strictly prohibits any remuneration or commercial activity associated with personal use. The article really calls attention to all the underlying and anticipated issues of the new bill, offers credible justification for the benefits and all the preparations being made of administrations and the bill moving forward. So I thought this was a good article that frames the bill in a positive light while also calling attention once again to all the concerns and providing hard news and facts to back those up. So in the second article, another major concern when it came to the passing of Bill 23290 was recreational sales. This article by, I'm in the middle of presentation. So this article by Mark Malone, he's a writer and lawyer for Firm News, centered around family and law and city litigation in Colorado. So I thought it was a good, credible source to use. He calls attention to both sides of the issue by saying the biggest misconception about the bill is that it will allow recreational sales, and it actually does not. He explains the qualifications and regulations of the bill using hard news and facts once again. He helps educate about the bill and how beneficial it could be, and also mentions other issues that the state will face within the new paradigm. There's many issues that will be worked out over the next year, he says, or more before facilities will be able to operate. Like cannabis, there will be issues in banking, insurance, and other institutions that may be influenced by or under federal control because these medicines are still federally legal. And that was a direct quote from him. So by communicating these different views and confronting them, once again showing deliberative communication and putting the arguments, giving them space to be presented. And I thought that was another great example for a media framing. I know I'm going a little bit over time here. I apologize. The third media framing was a closer look at the new legislation by S. Alexander. and it discusses the act and its various changes to the state law, including sealing the records of individuals convicted of drug offenses in previous and also over the age of 21. But it uses hard news and deliberative also asks readers to look at the bigger picture and avoid the exploitation of Indigenous people and their culture. So it also covered many of the issues presented within the bill, like Indigenous focus. And then overall, in conclusion, this bill was just very influential and a powerful change in history, as it has obviously been passed recently, I think like 2022, and it will stand as an example for other states, countries, and organizations. Senator Fenberg's sponsorship and leadership were detrimental to advancing this legislation and creating a safe community based on helping mental health in society overall. And his efforts use deliberative communication, racial acknowledgement to pave the way for safe and regulated access to natural psychedelic medicine in Colorado. And the sponsors of supporters of this bill can only hope that all the valid information, knowledge, incredible sources, and the hard news evidence can help educate Colorado and just eventually educate the world on the benefits of natural medicine. These are my works cited. I appreciate your time and I'm excited to see the rest of you guys' presentations. Good luck with the rest of your semester.